Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today's video is brought to you by OneFootball. Thank you to everyone that helped support me by downloading the app in the link in the description below. It really helps me out, and thanks to all of your efforts, you've helped me get another deal for this month. OneFootball is the best companion app for every football fan to have. I constantly use it every single time. It's got so many useful features and it's the quickest way to get the information you need. For example, if you want to know what the lineup is, they get the lineups instantly on the app. If you want to get quick stats on players because you and your friends are debating about who's better between Hazard or Willian, you can do that. Remember, if you do want to help me, make sure you download the app from the link in the description below because every download does get tracked. But in today's match review, in our 2-0 win over Nottingham Forest, I'm going to be talking about Ruben and his injury. I'm going to be talking about Kalin Hudson Odoi. What a performance today. I'll be talking about our fullbacks, Morata and Cesc Fabregas as well. But before I do any of that, I need to talk about the lineup, and I must say, I've been hoping to see a lineup like this for a while. Some interesting things, for example, seeing Ampadu playing as the understudy to Kante. That makes a lot of sense. Ampadu can do that. And what I like about Ampadu is the fact that he does get very tight and aggressive to his players. So in that sense, he's the perfect player to be that understudy to Kante. And with Cesc leaving and Sarri desperately needing a backup player for Kante, Ampadu could find more game time now in the next few weeks. Of course, Ruben started out wide on the right. Hudson Odoi started the game. He played the entire 90 minutes. And it was good to see Christensen play alongside David Luiz. I've been saying this for a while. I personally feel like David Luiz has to complement either Rudiger or Christensen. And it does allow Christensen to play in his best position on the right-hand side of the defence. And of course, it is great to see Emerson and Zappacosta. Now, tactically in this game, Nottingham Forest used the same tactics that we have been seeing from other teams, but I personally feel like we were constantly able to create those spaces between the lines against them, and it was through very intelligent movement from our fullbacks. Now, this is what I love about Emerson and sometimes Zappacosta. Well, with Zappacosta, I only like his ability to get forward, but they really help out in the final third. How many times do you see these guys get down to the byline? They're constantly that outlet for the cutback pass out wide. They help stretch the game as well. And because they have the ability to beat a man, they have that unpredictability about them. And that really helps out the wide players. And we were constantly able to stretch Nottingham Forest when we wanted to. We would easily do that by having someone like Ruben or Hudson Odoi moving infield in the half space to occupy those Nottingham Forest players. And by doing that, that helped create the spaces out wide for guys like Emerson and Zappacosta to go 1v1 against their man. And when they did that, we were easily able to create those overloads out wide because, of course, Kalin or Ruben would be that passing option for them. Now, really, this game should have been more than 2-0, let's be serious. And I feel it always comes down to our inability to really get those key goals in the right time. If Morata had scored that chance in the first 50 minutes, the entire game would have been different. We would have created more. We would have forced Nottingham Forest to have to attack. And by them doing that, it would create more space in behind them. And we constantly had fun in those wide areas. But the thing is, when you don't take your chances, of course, you give more confidence to the opposition team because their whole game plan is to not concede a goal and to defend. Now, there was one player in particular for today that really was causing mayhem for Nottingham Forest. That was Kalin Hudson Odoi. Now, in an ideal world, I would have loved to have seen that Ruben was playing with Emerson and with Hudson Odoi because I feel like we would have been even more dangerous against them. But Hudson Odoi was our best player and he showed everyone today why he's valued at £40 million by the club and why Bayern Munich are doing so much to try and sign him. He can play down the left and down the right, and he's like the only player that's able to make Morata score. Now, there is context in regards to this, so bear with me, I will get down to that. But when you see Kalin play, everything's so effortless. His ability on the ball, he makes the right passes in the final third. His hold-up play is very good. His build-up play, he can beat a man by going on the outside or cutting insides. His close control is exceptional. This guy is a fantastic talent. Now, in a way, it's kind of like a godsend that some of our attacking players do have small injuries because hopefully this means that Sarri is going to use him. It's another game today where Hudson Odoi really proved that he is ready to play for us. He is good. And I'll give you an example of the type of impact that Hudson Odoi has. Look at the first goal that he created for Morata. How many times do you see guys like Willian or Pedro slow the play down that right hand side try to imagine it in your heads. You can see that Willian's got the ball down the right hand side. You know, he's slowing the play down because you know that he's about to try and cut in quickly down the right. But by the time he's done that, an opposition player has already closed down that space. And this is why Morata doesn't get the type of service he needs. And this is why Giroud, to an extent, doesn't get the right service. Now, with Kalin coming on, everything's quick and instant. Look at the variety of his crosses he puts in. How many times do you see Willian and Pedro force that low-driven cross every single time? By the time they've played it, it's too late because they've already slowed the play down. And with Kalin, you just don't get that. And it's the third goal he's created for Morata. And it's no surprise why it's been the identical type of goal. Because let's be serious, Morata does rely on quick service. He's constantly making runs. This is why he's constantly offside a lot too. Because by the time he's got the ball, quite a lot of times it's coming too late. And with someone like Kalin on the pitch, that's the type of service that Morata's been screaming out for. Now, that's not me saying that Morata becomes a great player because of that, because in this game today, even though he did score 2 goals, he still showed us that lack of ability in his game sometimes. I mean, some of his finishes were really poor today, but we have to take responsibility as a team because we don't do enough to consistently create the type of service that Morata wants, because that's the service he needs for his confidence. Now, there's one more quick thing to add to my Kalin point in regards to him helping Morata, and that's the fact that when you have attacking fullbacks in Emerson and Zappacosta that stretch your play, that can beat a man, that's going to help create more space for guys like Ruben and Hudson Odoi to go 1v1 against their man. Now, when we see Alonso and Aspie, how many times do you see our wingers getting the opportunity to go 1v1? It rarely happens. And I can't say this anymore. This is why Sarri needs to embrace the attacking instincts of this team, because we're a team that needs to score goals. We're not the type of team that can seal a win out by scoring our only chance in the game. We don't have the players to do that. There is no more Diego Costa. And I can't say this anymore. If we do play like this, there's a massive chance that we will be leading way more in games. And let's say it gets to the final half an hour, that's when Sarri can bring on guys like Aspie and Cover. Still, 2 more points to talk about. Gotta talk about Eden Hazard. Now, let's be serious. He clearly is a match fit and he was quite poor today. But again, that's the context, so we can't really hold it against the guy. It's unfortunate that Ruben got that knock again. I hope that he does one day overcome these small injury concerns, because it really does slow down his progress. But Sarri did something interesting in the second half of the game. He did sub off Morata. Now, my first instinct was, come on Sarri, give the guy a break. If he scored a hat-trick, it could have been a massive confidence booster for him. But there was tactical sense to this. Now, if you guys cast your minds back to the second half of the game, Nottingham Forest were causing us more danger down our left-hand side. And that came down to the fact that Emerson wasn't getting the protection he needed, Cesc wasn't getting there closer enough, and Hazard just wasn't pressing. And we have to realise this and accept this. We're a pressing team. If one player doesn't do his job, that affects the entire team's shape. And this is why Sarri is working so hard to get the team's press on point. It makes a massive difference. That's the reason why Liverpool and Tottenham have reached a new level under Pochettino and Klopp. Once we've mastered this part of our game, we become an elite team. But because Hazard wasn't doing this, Sarri had to play him in the middle. Unfortunately, it did mean that Morata wasn't able to get the opportunity to get a hat-trick in this game. But that's a little interesting point for you guys to think about. And of course, I can't end this review without talking about Cesc. It's been a great career at Chelsea in my opinion. I personally feel like he's always been kind of unlucky. If he had the right managers in charge, if he never had Mourinho or Conte, I think Cesc would have played a much more decisive part in the team. Let's be serious, with a player of his dimensions and stylistically, you need to kind of build the team around him. When you create the possibilities for him to control a game, like we saw in the first part of Mourinho's second term, you can really see what Cesc provides. But unfortunately, we had very pragmatic managers. I mean, that was the main reason as to why Cesc never broke the assist record in his season. Look at the first half of that season when we won the title under Mourinho. Cesc had so many assists in the first part of that season. Then after that 5-3 loss to Spurs, Mourinho stopped us playing that style. We became more defensive and pragmatic, and that stopped Cesc from beating the records. And under Conte just preferred more physical players in midfield. And I feel like we never really got the best out of him, but good luck to him. I'm sure that with the move to Monaco now, it's going to be a great career move for him. But you guys, that's going to bring an end to today's match review. Please like, comment and subscribe. As I said, if you want to help support me, go on the link in the description below. Download the OneFootball app from there. It really helps. Anyway, I'm going to keep it moving. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Signing out.